Well, hi. My name is John Agacki, and I'm really thrilled and I'm very grateful to be asked to be on the Artist Feature Focus Showcase. And I've got some of the previous artists who were on before. There's so much talent here in the Northland. It's incredible. It's incredible, really. And actually, when I worked for the Humanities Council, Mary Rice from Bayfield, she had set up a special fund just for the 5 northern counties of Wisconsin because there was so much talent up in the northern part. And then, of course, northern Minnesota. I mean, it's just a hotbed of talent. It's amazing. When friends of mine come up to visit and we go to these open mics, they're just blown away. And a friend of mine who's a professional musician in Colorado went to, it was then Beaners, but now it's Wusso's. And he said, wow, we don't have anything like this where I'm at. So we should be really grateful for all the things we have here, for the arts, the environment, everything, the people. So I know I am. So thank you, KTWH 99.5 FM on your radio dial out of Two Harbors. And officially KTWH.org. Well, we are in the Edna G tugboat, and this is the captain's quarters. Wow, I feel special, and it's just gorgeous, isn't it? And in this sort of setting, I just have to do some seafaring songs. And outside of the fact that it's the year of the sea shanty, I think you can't pass up an opportunity like this. And even the ghosts are coming in, the creaking doors. It's the ghosts of sailors who have been on this tug. They'll be celebrating the 125th anniversary of the Edna G this year. So this is dedicated to KTWH, to Kim and Jose, and all the people that volunteer and work at the station. And most of all, this is dedicated to the Edna G and to the ghosts of the Edna G. I'll sing you a song of the ships of the sea, away, Rio. I'll sing you a song of the ships of the sea, and we're bound for the Rio Grande. All away, away, Rio. I'll sing you a song of the ships of the sea, and we're bound for the Rio Grande. All away, all away. The worst old ship that ever did weigh left the harbor on a sunny day, and we're waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. Out of our fort's nest she sprang a leak, hear her poor old timbers creak, and we're waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. This ship was built in Roman times, held together with bits of twine, and we're waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. There's nothing in the galley, nothing in the hold, and the skipper's gone to bed with his bag of gold, and we're waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. And that's your part. Out there in Radio Land, or internet land. We're waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. The skipper's drunk and the first mate too, and we are 13 men too few, and we're waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. Oh, the worst old ship that ever did weigh left the harbor on a sunny day, and we're waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. Waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. Last chance, waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. Waiting for the day, waiting for the day, waiting for the day when we get our pay. And moving lips count too, even if you can't sing a note, or when you're the cameraman and can't sing at this point in time. So you can sing along later on the rebroadcast. Well, I'm going to move into an original composition. And I was asked to say something about the writing process. And I've never really thought about it before, to tell you the truth. And so it was a good thing to be to ask those questions and to listen to the other artists and how their writing process worked. And some of the things were similar. I said, oh, I can relate to that, you know. And for me, boy, there may be 3 or 4 different ways that a song comes about. It can be just the inspiration of the moment. Something triggers whatever it is inside of you to create something. And this particular song is one of those moments where I was sitting on the shores of Lake Superior. And I was pretty young at that time. I think I was probably, I don't know, 24, 25. And I was sitting on the shore and just looking at the waves and how beautiful it was. And it was approaching sunset. And I picked up the guitar and I just started playing. And honestly, this came out pretty much in one stream. And how that happens, I have no idea. But I'm very grateful. And it's called On Lake Superior Shore. The strings went out of tune a little bit. It's a little chilly down here. And that's in a drop D tuning for you guitarists out there. So, I did On Lake Superior Shore, which is from my debut CD, A Little Music on the Rocks, with me photographed right on the shores of Lake Superior on the rocks, on the waterfront in Canal Park. So very nice photo taken by my cousin, who's really a gifted photographer. Anyway, I'm going to move to an Irish song, and it's called The Herring. It's sometimes called the net hauling song. And that's why I did On Lake Superior Shore, because Lake Superior, before the sea lamprey invaded in, what year was that? 1938. We had a bountiful amount of lake trout, whitefish, herring, everything. And then the sea lamprey were introduced. And the Niagara Falls used to keep them out until they built the channel so that the ships could come in, and then the sea lamprey came along with them. So anyway, it decimated the fish population. And it was just awful. It went from hundreds of millions of tons per year down to hundreds of thousands. And and herring was one of the industries that was hit. And so this leads into the herring song I'm going to do, the net hauling song. It's bustle, me boys, get you up on the deck and take up your stations for hauling the net. And mind you pull together, lads, all through the night, and shaking your oilskins until it's daylight. And we're heaving and hauling and shaking of nets. It's when we're at hauling we're living on hope. The boys in the locker, the lads on the rope. The fellas in the hold too are hauling the nets and shaking the herring out onto the deck. And we're heaving and hauling and shaking of nets. It's hour after hour we are hauling away, all through the long night till the dawn of the day. The captain's in the wheelhouse, he's on the RT, and the cook in the galley is brewing the tea. And we're heaving and hauling and shaking of nets. It's net after net we pull up from the sea, with a hull and a shake and a 1, 2, and 3. The herring are piling around our sea boots and slithering and sliding down into the chutes. And you're heaving and hauling and shaking of nets. Now the season is over, so be on your way and head for the home port and sign for your pay. Your missus will be waiting to welcome you home. It's so hard for a wife to be so much alone. And you're finished with heaving and hauling of nets. The net hauling song. Great Irish song. And I spent some time in Dublin and visiting relatives there. And just a great atmosphere, great town, great music, great beer, great everything, and very friendly. People are so friendly. It's amazing. And the next song I would like to do is called The Bonny Shoals of Herring. And it's a really interesting song because it shows how a young lad works his way up in his various levels of skill as he's learning to fish for herring. With our nets and gear we're faring on the wild and wasteful ocean. It's out there on the deep we harvest and reap our bread, as we're hunting for the shoals of herring. Oh, it was a fine and a pleasant day. Out from Yarmouth Harbour we were faring, as a cabin boy on a sailing lugger. We were hunting for the shoals of herring. Oh, we fished the Swarth and the broken banks. I was cook and I got quarter sharing, and I used to sleep standing on me feet as I dreamt about the shoals of herring. Oh, the work was hard and the hours long, and the treatment surely took some bearing. There was little kindness and the kicks were many as we hunted for the shoals of herring. You're all up on deck, you're a fisherman. You can swear and show a manly bearing. Take your turn at watch with the other fellas as you're hunting for the shoals of herring. You're net ropeman now, boy, you're on the move, and you're learning all about seafaring. That's your education, scraps of navigation, as you've hunted for the shoals of herring. With our nets and gear we're faring on the wild and wasteful ocean. It's out there on the deep we harvest and reap our bread, as we're hunting for the shoals of herring. Oh, beautiful song. The Shoals of Herring. Well, it wouldn't be right to not do an American seafaring song. And so we've been to Ireland, and now let's come to America. And this is called Heading Down to Cuba. And I love a lot of these seafaring songs because the work really was hard. And you were out at sea for long periods of time. And so you had to have a sense of humor. Otherwise you jump overboard. And so a lot of these songs have this tongue-in-cheek, wry humor. And this is one of them. The first line sets it up. You're heading to Cuba with a load of sugar. Like you need to bring sugar to Cuba. I mean, it's just that sort of humor I love. So here it goes. And if you want to sing along, it's heading down to Cuba, way me boys to Cuba. That's it. Heading down to Cuba with a load of sugar. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Heading down to Cuba with a load of sugar. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Running down to Cuba. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Now I got a sister, she's 9 feet tall. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Sleeps in the kitchen with her feet in the hall. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Running down to Cuba. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Now I got a woman, she can dance on fandango. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Plump as a melon and sweet as a mango. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Running down to Cuba. Hey, me boys to Cuba. Well, the work is hard and the wages low, heading down to Cuba. But it's time for us to roll and go. Hey, me boys, to Cuba. Running down to Cuba. Hey, me boys, to Cuba. Yes, it's time for us to roll and go. Hey, me boys, to Cuba. 'Cause the captain boss man told me so. Hey, me boys, to Cuba. Running down to Cuba. Hey, me boys, to Cuba. Running down to Cuba with a load of sugar. Hey, me boys, to Cuba. Running down to Cuba with a load of sugar. Hey, me boys, to Cuba. Running down to Cuba. Hey, me boys, to Cuba. Oh, I love that song. Running down to Cuba. And then I'll do another Keep Going South, and we'll head to Australia. And this is South Australia. And the words to this are, I have to get the other song out of my head. Some of them are so catchy. Oh, let's see. With a heave away and a haul away, we're bound for South Australia. You'll catch on. South Australia, I was born with a heave away and a haul away. South Australia, round Cape Horn, bound for South Australia. Haul away, ya roving kings, with a heave away and a haul away. Haul away, ya hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia, bound for South Australia. If there's one thing that grieves me mind, with a heave away and a haul away, it's leaving Nancy Blair behind, bound for South Australia. Haul away, ya roving kings, with a heave away and a haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia, bound for South Australia. Now when you're walloping around Cape Horn with a heave away and a haul away, you wish to God that you'd never been born, bound for South Australia. Haul away, ya roving kings, with a heave away and a haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia, bound for South Australia. Now South Australia's my native land, with a heave away and a haul away, with rocks and thieves and fleas and sand, bound for South Australia. Haul away, ya roving kings, with a heave away and a haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Haul away, ya roving kings, with a heave away and a haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Last chance. Haul away, ya roving kings, with a heave away and a haul away. Haul away, you hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia, bound for South Australia, bound for South Australia. I love that song too. You'll find me on St. Patrick's Day at any number of the Irish bars that are in the area. I sung at Carmody's, at Dublin's. In fact, they were asking about me this St. Patrick's Day. Where is he at? You know, but the whole COVID business, you know. So, but I'm fully vaccinated now and ready for business. So, here we are. Now, to get back to original songwriting, I guess, some of the inspirations. Some can be words or even just a melody. Sometimes I'll just be noodling, and then I'll get a combination, then I don't know how it happens. You open up your mouth and then something comes out, it seems to fit. Then you have to do words, and that's the part that It doesn't take me long, honestly, to do lyrics, and that's the part I often put off. And I'll stick with the same stuff for a while, and then finally I just sit down. And I remember I looked at my computer once, and it said, one of the files said, songs to finish. I thought, what the heck? So I opened it up. Oh, I remember these. And here's these songs where I had, half completed verses. And I thought, oh, let's get them done. And I finished up everything within, oh man, I mean, it was within 45 minutes, And I thought, why should it take so long to get around to that? And I like to write, so that's a mystery. It depends. A melody will come, and then I have to add the text. Sometimes it's the occasion, and then that inspires me to do something. And that was the case in this particular song. I don't really have a musical background. I took some piano lessons. There was always music in our family. Our family loves music. And our family reunions are really more like hootenannies. And so it's great fun. And my parents were great dancers, fantastic dancers. In fact, my dad dated Ginger Rogers. And then she wanted to get serious, and then he said, no, I'm waiting. He was in London, and she wanted to get serious, and he said, well, no, I'm waiting until I get home. I'm going to marry someone when I get stateside. And he had told my mother, you're a better dancer than Ginger Rogers anyway. And my mother, in her modesty, said, I'm a better dancer than Fred Astaire. And they were really good. To watch them move, it was like poetry in motion, how the expression goes. It was really something. So there was always music, but most of it was folk music, and some country western, a lot of polkas. But my mother did buy a 20 LP set called The Children's Golden Treasury of Music. 20 LPs. And I went through each one of them. And they ranged from gospel to bluegrass to folk music to classical to musicals. And I gravitated towards the folk albums and also the classical stuff. It just seemed more interesting. And there was biographies, little descriptions about each of the composers. And that was really where I was exposed to a wide range of things as a kid. And I was, how old was I? 8 at that time, maybe? I don't know, 9. I forget. And so that was one influence. And also the radio stations. At one time, you would hear the Beatles next to Buck Owens, next to Frank Sinatra, next to Dave Brubeck. And so as a kid, you heard all this stuff, much like the programming that I hear on Kim's station, a show in the morning at 7. And actually, when I heard it, I thought, man, this is just like how I remember when I was a kid, hearing polka music at 7:30 in the morning. And it was great. And so I donated. And you should, too. It's a great station. And you have to support things like that. They're really fun, and they're a rarity, and they're a benefit to your community, not just because I'm on this. I mean, I just think you should do it. And so I donate to all the public broadcasting things that I can, and however I can afford. But it all adds up. So there you are. There's my plug for public media, but particularly for KTWH 99.5 on your FM dial. Check it out. It really is neat. It really is unique, like most of the things in the Northland here. But and so to get back to my background, I didn't have any formal training until I took some piano lessons from a cousin who was classically trained. And even those lessons weren't that many, but, I had some foundation. And then just life musically never went in a straight line. And I don't think life goes in a straight line anyway, but musically it sure didn't. But I think things started changing when I entered the True Value Country no, True Value Hardware Country Showdown, and tied for first place, doing 2 country western originals. And along with my cousin and sister, we were, we're a trio. And then later on, I entered a contest, talent contest for Garrison Keillor, and I got first place with that as well. And and then that led to many other things. I ended up writing stuff for his the the opening song for his Halloween show at Orchestra Hall, and then some Irish songs for a St. Patrick's Day show in New York, and so you never know what's going to happen in life. I mean, you just don't know. This particular song I wrote because it was an occasion, to get back to what inspires me. This was an occasion, and unfortunately, it was a friend of mine died of COVID in Germany. He was an excellent guitarist, and I lived in Germany. I worked there, played in a German rock band. That was great, But he was really, really good, and he played in that band. And it was really sad. And so once I heard the news, I thought about that, and I went to the guitar, and this is what came out. And it's called In Memoriam. But I had to do a subtext because there are hundreds of In Memoriams out there. So it matches the rhythm of the refrain, and it's In Memoriam, you know how much I miss you. So I'm going to have to set words to that at some point. But here's how it goes. And hopefully the guitar will stay in tune a little better than it did on Lake Superior Shore. But we'll see how it goes. So, In Memoriam. And that's with, with Veterans Day coming up this Thursday. There we go. That's to in memoriam for veterans, and also to my friend and other people that have passed away to that terrible illness. Well, after that, I think we should bounce it up a little bit. This is one that was written because of an occasion. And I was sitting with a friend of mine. And, we're having a couple drinks. And somehow the subject of his divorce came up. And he told me the reason why his divorce happened. And he's passed away. But I thought, boy, this would make a kind of a neat song. So I came up with this. Well, I had me a weekend all alone. Thought about an old friend I had known. Thought about the good times, the rare old good times we had known. And so I called her and she was home. Couldn't wait to see me, she was all alone. We talk about the good times, the rare old good times at my home, all alone. We talk about the good times, the rare old good times at my home. So we talked about the good times, and we had some beer, some wine and whiskey, and some Everclear. We talked about the good times, the rare old good times, and we got near, really near. We talked about the good times, those rare old good times, and we got near. She left in a hurry, I don't know why she left in a hurry and forgot some clothes. She left in a hurry, an awful hurry, and forgot some clothes. Well, you can imagine her surprise when my wife discovered they were not her size. Now I'm in for bad times, some rare old sad times, heaven knows, 'cause of pantyhose. Yeah, I'm in for bad times, some rare old sad times, heaven knows. True story. So, I should mention, by the way, this song is going to be on a release of mine of country music, or Americana / country music. I've got 3 different projects in the can. I've got a country, sort of country CD. I've got a Christmas CD. I'm going to be working with, let's see, Strike Point and the Superior Youth Choir. And so we're coordinating that. And then I have a 3rd CD, so the Country Western, the Christmas. Oh, and I have a Seafaring CD coming up. And hopefully, that's going to be out in time for St. Patrick's Day. So, so I've got a lot on my plate right now. I should mention, by the way, that In Memoriam, which is actually out now, and actually made it onto Pandora, which I was really happy about. There was a good thing that came out of that. I submitted some songs to a music licensing company in Los Angeles, and that was one of them. And I ended up getting a contract from them. So the CEO told me on a conference call, I want that song. And so, that was a gift. That was a real gift. So music, you never know where it's going to take you. You write it, and for a purpose, and then it ends up serving you in a different way than you originally intended. So it's the mystery of music. Absolutely, 100%. Once I very seldom write to text, although once Garrison had some text that had to be set to music. And in fact, I hadn't even intended to be part of that project. And then I got a knock on my hotel room. And the guy who's singing the stuff says, he needs some melodies to these. Can you provide some melodies? Okay, well, let me look at them. So, I looked at the text and I got the rhythm in my head. And I says, okay, I've got it. He said, okay, sing it to me. So I sing it to him. And then, well, how about this one? And then he hands me another one. I'm looking, and then I sing. And luckily for me, the melodies just came right out. And then they were sung on the air. Oh, let's see if I even remember this. I hope I'm not violating copyright or anything, but how did that one go? One morning. So this was his, a short ditty, but this is a melody I came up to Garrison's text for his New York City show. One morning in May, I spied a young maiden down by Galway Bay, and she was a-weepin' as she spun her yarn, because her poor father fell off of the barn. And that was it. Something short and sweet. So anyway, and typical humor of his. And then another time, the Guthrie Theater needed a new song for their Christmas carol. And one of the actors said, they need something. And I said, well, he said, they're looking for submissions. And I said, well, what part in the Christmas carol is it from? And he says, oh, well, they're dancing in the drawing room. And they want something about Christmas and the Yuletide and all that. And I says, okay, I know the scene. And for some reason, this melody just popped in my head. And I said, well, I've got the melody. I went down to the piano and I plunked it out. And he says, can you get words to that? And I says, yeah. I says, what do you need it? Tomorrow morning. So I went to the computer and I typed out some words, and I had to head back. I couldn't stay in the city, so I got up in the morning and typed these things out, and off it went, Oh, how in the heck did that go? Let Christmas merriment begin. Welcome, welcome, do come in. We'll shake the snow off our attire. Dancing round the Yuletide fire. Let us dance and let us sing. Show the joy that Christmas can bring. Let us dance and let us sing. And show the joy that Christmas can bring. So that all worked out. And so how that can come, I have no idea. It just happens. So I'll take it if it comes. And so there's some concrete examples there. So sometimes it is to text, and sometimes they tell me what the situation is, and then I get this mental image, and then I get the oral image, and then I try and tie them together with text. So I never know how it's going to happen. And in fact, a little later, actually, when I was told I was going to be on this tugboat, I thought, wouldn't it be neat to write just a little ditty about the Edna G? And so I didn't know anything about it, so I wrote Kim and I said, do you have a plaque that's out there about it? And then I'll look up on the trusty old internet, and then I read a little bit about it, and I thought, okay, well, I'll do a little ditty. So I guess I'm going to be doing that up on deck a little later, so we'll see. And I hope I remember the words. I didn't write anything down there. It's in my head here. So, well, I think what I might do is since we're on this boat, we could end with one of the most beautiful seafaring songs that I know. And it's called Leave Her Johnny. Well, I thought I heard the first mate say, leave her, Johnny, leave her, for tomorrow we all will collect our pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her, oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her, for the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, I'm tired of this rotten tub. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. No rum's allowed and there's rotten grub, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her, for the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, the captain swears and the first mate too. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Well, if you worked here, well, you'd swear too, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her, for the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, the rats have left, and we should too. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Well, the rats have left, and we should too, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her, for the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. And I guess I'll be leaving you. So, my name is John Agacki. A-G-A-C-K-I, John's the name and I'm that guy. A-G-A-C-K-I, John's the name and I'm that guy. And so you can find my music, johnagackimusic.com. Or when I'm doing Irish music, because some people like it when I do the Irish music, and so I also have John O'Gacki, and tap into the Irish, and so either one of those two locations. I'm also doing a live stream on Twitch every Monday at 7 o'clock. I just started that last night after getting in on a 10-hour trip. Oh, my word. So anyway, so that's something else I'm involved with. And you might hear some of my stuff on TV or in film now that I'm part of this agency. And so it's really exciting. I could have, well, the In Memoriam is something he wants to use. So we'll see when that happens. Probably not till next Memorial Day. I have other things that I could have played in that vein. He liked some of the other stuff I had. My Halloween song, which Kim played on the... did you play it on the... I don't know if she played it on the radio, but I did send it to her to share it with her. That's another thing where it was Halloween, and I thought, oh, I've never written a Halloween song. And so I wrote this ghostly thing. I played it for one music supervisor. He said, it's perfect for Disney. It's perfect for Disney. And so, who knows? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, you know, I didn't... That was such a perfect spot to leave it, and we can leave it at that. But, you know, I mentioned I won first place on this talent contest with Garrison. I should have played the song that I won with. It's one of my original compositions. And, you know, when I read the statistics that 1 of 2 marriages end in divorce, that's not really good. And so this, after I read that statistic, I thought, my goodness, you know, you should really have a song that you show your appreciation for someone that you've been with for a long time. And that's what this song was about. And so it's called Dancing My Life With You. It's on my little Music on the Rocks CD. I've been thinking about the times we've spent, love. Thinking about all the loving that I've seen. I've been thinking about the times we've spent, love. Thinking all of the places where we've been. All the things that we do, all the things we've been through. Wanna go on dancing my life with you. I remember the days before we met, love. Doing things, but doing them all by myself. I remember the nights before we met, love. Having dreams I could share with nobody else. But the sun has shone through since the day we were two. Wanna go on dancing, romancing, enhancing my life with you. Dancing my life with you. And a waltz rhythm so you can dance your life away with the person you're in love with and that you're still with. There we are. Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. This has been really great and a great setting. And I think before the sun sets, I have to go out on deck and do a song or two. So thank you so much. Excuse me if my finger picking nails kind of broke, so I'm working on the flesh of them. So, and you might have heard a couple sour notes, but it's the ghosts of the cabin. That's what's happening. So, thank you very much, and once again, thanks to Jose and Kim and KTWH 99.5 on your FM dial. Don't forget to support. Any amount is desirable. And I heard if you make it monthly, it helps them out a lot because they know what they're working with on a monthly basis. So there you are. And goodbye. Thanks a lot. This tugboat is a very fine craft, and a very fine craft is she. She guided our boats into the docks for over a century. But now her working days are done for the Edna G. But she's safely moored onto harbour shore. Come and visit the Edna G. She's safely moored onto harbour shore. Come and visit the Edna G. The Edna G, I love you. Thank you for supporting Two Harbors Community Radio. I did.